Hey everyone, this is Brimster, and this is the next Sudoku problem in my Sudoku Problem series. I'm repeating myself. This is number 55, and it is a killer problem which was submitted by Pineapple. I don't know that I've ever done anything by Pineapple before, so thank you for sending this one through. So this one came through as something that was a little bit hard. So I've run through this one a couple of days ago, and yep, I found this one a little bit tricky. So if you find this one tricky yourself, don't worry. If I fumble on my explanation, I may re-record it, or I may just turn around and say, see, this was tricky. So the way killer cages work is that the digits that are placed in the cages must sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. And that's what we've got to work on. So, yeah, there'll be a link below to where you can grab a copy of this problem. You only need to place the digits in the cages which are marked with an X. So don't worry about any of the other cages. Only fill out the cells with an X. And what I'll do is I will leave it for a few seconds so you can pause the video. And then when you come back, I will try and explain how this one works. Okay, so this one is all about conflicting pointing pairs, at least from what I remember. So if we look at this 5 cage, the only way you can make up a 5 cage is with 1, 4, or with 2, 3. But this 6 cage, and I'm going to use the calculator because I just want to have a referrer because I'm trying to explain this, not solve it. A 6 cage, and I don't need it for this, but I'm going to need it later, is basically only able to be made up with 1, 5 or 2, 4. But if I do 2, 4 here, all that's left here is 1, 3, which doesn't sum to 5. So I can't use 2, 4. So this has to be 1, 5, which takes the 1 out of these, which by default takes out the 4, and I end up with 1, 5 and 2, 3. Now, I can do the same over here, I believe. This has to be 6, 7, 8, and 9, or 6, 9, or 7, 8. They're the only two ways to make up 15. But a 14 cage also has two ways of doing it, one of which is 6, 8. And if I do 6, 8, this is left to be 7, 9, which is 16, which is not 15. So this has to be, can't be 6, 8, has to be 5, 9, which takes the 9 out of here, which takes the 6 out of here. And now that is knocked down. But we've got the same thing happening here, sort of. So I think this is where I had to look next, because in here I can never use 7s because of this 7. So because I can't use 7s, these only have two options. So the 13, or let's look at the 12 cage first. It can be 3, 9 or 4, 8 because the 7 knocks out the other option. It knocks out the 7, 5 option. The 13 cage, however, can only be 5, 8 or 4, 9. And the 4, 9 option, I think it is, knocks out both 3, 9 and 4, 8. So I can't use 4, 9 here, or this would have no fill. So this can't be 4, 9. This becomes 5, 8, which knocks the 8 out of here, which by definition knocks out the 4, and this becomes 3, 9. Now, 3, 9 here looks across to here, means this can't be 3. This becomes 2. This becomes 3. The 7, 8, oh no, the 5, 9 here looks up, meaning this is 3 and this is 9. Now this does start getting a little bit more tricky because, and you know, all of this is fine and everything. I would still call this quite a tricky puzzle, but it even gets more tricky now with this bent 14 cage, because what we need to look at is this cell and realize this is a 7, 8, and there are 3 ways of making up a 13 cage: 4, 9, 5, 8, and 6, 7. But we can't use 5, 8, and 6, 7, because if we did 5, 8, and 6, 7, we've used a 7 and 8, and this cell would have no fill. So we can only use one of 5, 8, and 6, 7. One of these, doesn't matter which, I'm just going to pick this one randomly, is 4, 9, and the other one is 5, 8, or 6, 7, which means we've got a 7, 8 pair in here. Now, it could be the other way. I could put a 4, 9 here, and I could put the 5, 6, 7, 8 here. It really does not matter. Now, if we look at this 14 cage, a 14 cage in 3 must have a 1, a 2, or a 3 in it. If it doesn't have a 1, a 2, or a 3, like if it'd be 4, 5, 6, and 4, 5, 6 adds to 15, and that will blow the total. 4, 5, 6, this is only a 14 cage. So I can't put 1, 2, or 3 in either of those cells. So this becomes 1, 2, 3. Now, it also has to have a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9 in it, because of it's just the way a 14 cage works. If once I've got the 1, 2, 3 in here, and this is where it gets really tricky, but well, I'm trying to think how to explain this. Uh, So, as I said, this one I found really hard. So I can't use 356. That's an important step. Because if I did 356, this would be three, these would be 5 6, and I can't because of the five here. So it can't be 356, which means I have to put a 7, an 8, and or a 9 in this cage. But I can't. I've got a 7 8 pair in this row already, and I've got a 9 here. So this is 7 8 or 9, and it's not 9. So I can't put 9 in this cage at all. So there's no 9 in it. Um, but with the 789, this has to be from 4, 5, or 6. It can't be 4 and it can't be 5 because there's a 4 here and there's a 5 here. So this becomes a 6, which limits this cage down immediately to 167 because of the fact that with a 6 in it, the only options are 167 or 356. And 356 doesn't work because I'd have to hide both the 3 and the 5 here. I'm probably not explaining this the best way, but this is the only way I found through this. And because it's 167, this becomes the 1, this becomes the 7. Now, this 6 takes 6 out of here, which means this is not 6 7, this becomes 5 8, and the 8 knocks the 8 out of there, this becomes 7, this becomes 8, and that is the solution to the problem. That's how you get all of the digits with X's in them. You can't really get any more, but you don't need to. This was absolutely stunning to me, and I probably could have done better if I'd used this too and looked down, but I found I didn't need to. I really liked this one. I loved the way the cages were bouncing off each other in this shape in particular. The rest of it was really nice pointing pairs, but I really liked this problem. And I may have made it harder than it needed to be, but I just love the way this bounced off each other. If you found a better way through it, congratulations. If you didn't do all of that complex elimination stuff and did it with math or something, awesome. But yeah, I really like the way that these force the eliminations. It's a very common killer trick and something that is very hard to pick up. And this really focused your attention exactly where you needed to go. And I thought that was great. Thank you, Pineapple, for sending this one through. I really do appreciate it. And I think this is a great contribution to the series. So thanks. I just, yeah, I can't thank you enough. I'm in a good mood today, which has been rare recently. So yeah, hope everyone is enjoying it. And as always, good luck with your solving.